Hey, what is going on, guys? In this video today, we're going to be going over how to counter aggressive players in Fortnite. A few weeks back, I made a video about how to be successful while playing aggressive, so I guess it's only fair that I now talk about the other side of the equation. The reason why I think a lot of people will find this video helpful is because, as of right now, Fortnite's actually in one of the most aggressive dominant metas of all time. Because of the new aim assist combined with the amount of really good spray weapons in the game, the meta way to play right now is basically doing everything in your power to get right in your enemy's face. Now that can be really frustrating to play against, and if you don't know how to counter that playstyle, you're probably not going to have a lot of fun playing the game. So the purpose of this video is to help you guys with exactly that, and without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so the first tip that I discussed in my how to play aggressive video was basically to revolve your playstyle when playing aggressive around your ping. Well, the truth of the matter is, the same thing applies when you're trying to counter and outplay aggressive players. Starting off with the low ping players, which again I define as anywhere between about 0 and 25, your 1x1 box is likely to be somewhat of an impenetrable force against the majority of players you run into. As long as you're turbo building your wall, it's very unlikely to get taken within at least the first 3 to 4 tries. Players most likely won't be able to sneak any bullets through your turbo builds. The only thing you really have to worry about is players abusing phasing methods to get into your box, but even then, a lot of the time you'll still be able to hold them out. Now, just because you have low ping doesn't guarantee you're not still going to get outplayed by really aggressive players, but you're going to have the advantage of being much more likely to keep control of your box for at least enough time to think of your next move. So now, let's talk about the high ping players, which is anything over about 50 or so if you're playing on any of the major matchmaking regions. So pretty much, think about everything I just said to the low ping players and reverse it. If you have 50 or 60 plus ping, you're going to get your wall taken in the first 2 to 3 tries the majority of the time. Enemies spraying your wall are going to hit you with 1 to 2 SMG bullets per clip, even if you're turbo building, and enemies are going to be able to phase into your box without even doing any kind of special exploit. I know it sucks, it's unfair, I agree, but the important takeaway here for high ping players is that you can't treat your box like anything more than a very temporary safety net. If an enemy's at your wall, you can't take 5 seconds to think of what you want to do next. Your decisions need to be almost instant. And if they're not, you better get good at winning 50-50 point blank range fights because you're going to be in a lot of them. Now for players in between the two extremes of ping, so roughly the 25 to 50 range, I'd honestly recommend playing much more like a high ping player. When it comes to countering super aggressive enemies, it's much better to be safe than sorry. Since you can't possibly know the ping of every player you run into, it's much better to just assume that everybody has 0. Sure, that may result in you making a less than perfect play in some situations because you kind of rush yourself, but that's a much better alternative than getting surprised by a low ping player who phases into your box or replaces your wall on the first try. So I hope you understand why ping is such an important factor here. Aggressive and countering aggressive play revolves so much around box fighting, and as I'm sure most of you know, box fighting is hands down the most ping-dependent aspect of playing Fortnite. The next tip that I want to share is a really crucial one: the importance of attacking back when somebody is aggressively pressuring you. This is without a doubt the #1 mistake that I see a lot of lesser skilled players make when they get aggressively pushed by an enemy. Let me give you a sort of inside the mind play-by-play breakdown of what a lot of people will mistakenly do in that situation. So they're thinking, alright, I'm boxed up and I just healed up and now this enemy's at my wall. Alright, no sweat, I'm just gonna keep turbo building my wall as long as possible, and oh no, he just got it, so now I'm gonna edit out the back and make a new 1x1. Okay, now he's at this front wall, so I'm just gonna keep turbo building and keep turbo building, and he just phased through that wall, barrel stuffed me with an SMG, and now I'm dead. There's a reason why counterpunching is so important in sports like boxing and UFC. If you signal to your opponent that you're not really gonna fight back and only focus on defense, they're just gonna absolutely tee off on you. That may sound like a weird comparison, but it's basically exactly the same thing in Fortnite. If you don't make some kind of offensive play very early in the fight, you're gonna make the life of the aggressive player so much easier. As good as playing aggressive may be in this meta, it still puts you at a pretty elevated risk. I mean, just think about it like this. Probably the most likely thing that's gonna happen when you're pushing somebody's box is to end up right in their face. Now sure, they may be weaker than you, and the new aim assist is definitely insane at point blank range, but it's not like you're shooting someone in the back who's not looking at you. All it takes is for the aggressive player to make one small mistake and they're dead just like that. So when it comes to making a counter-aggressive play, you have three base options. You can either edit the wall the enemy's attacking and go for a shotgun shot, you can edit out the side or top of your box and go for high ground, or you can edit out the side or top of your box and immediately push the aggressive player. There's some other situational tricks you can definitely do that don't fall into those three broad categories, but honestly, most of them are pretty advanced and can be really difficult to execute on control. So using the wall edit and shotgun shot as an example of a counter-aggressive play, the good thing is even if you miss the shot, it'll still have a positive impact overall. No player with anything more than half a brain is going to continue breaking your wall or try to phase through when you just narrowly miss them with a shotgun shot. They're going to build to protect themselves and probably chill for at least a second or two, and what that does is it at least buys you enough time to make your next move. And if you hit that shotgun shot, now you can turn into the aggressive player when they box up and try to heal. The next important tip for countering aggressive players is to base your playstyle on your amount of health. When you're getting pressured, if you play the same way when you have 50 health as you do when you have 150, you're probably not going to be very good at countering aggressive players. So when you're in a situation where you have low health and quick heal items in your inventory, this is really the only time your first priority shouldn't be making an aggressive play back, because healing is always more important. And with the amount of good spray weapons available in the game right now, it's just too risky to open yourself up to any situation where 1 to 2 SMG bullets can sneak through and kill you. Your only goal with low health is to either branch out into new boxes or build up to high ground until you have enough space between you and the enemy to get 5 to 10 seconds to heal up. However, if you're forced into a box but you have, say, 150 plus health, that's when you want to be just as aggressive as the enemy. And if you do get outplayed and take damage, it isn't the end of the world, because then you can just follow the low health strategy of disengaging and healing up. Another interesting option to outplay aggressive players is to actually use their aggressiveness against them. This is something that I'll do fairly frequently when I notice an enemy's main plan is to spray and phase into my box. I'll turbo build the first wall or two just to make it seem like that's my only plan, but then I'll put away my building menu, pull out my shotgun, and line up the crosshair with where the enemy is. So then when he sprays that wall down, he's just expecting me to turbo build it again, but I actually have a shotgun shot lined up and waiting for him, and then once I hopefully hit that, I'll switch to my SMG and clean up the kill. The final tip that's super important for countering aggressive players is to always have either a ramp or cone inside your box. This is definitely a simple tip that anybody's capable of doing, but I can't tell you how many times I see even really good players get lazy with this. I know it's an extra 10 materials that you don't want to use, and when you're getting pressured, it's the last thing in your mind, but that cone or ramp is basically your last line of defense against aggressive players. And as I've talked about before, if you don't place your cone or ramp inside the 1x1, what a good aggressive player will do is place his cone or ramp. And if that happens, you can't build to protect yourself at all, he controls every aspect of that engagement, and that's a fight that you're gonna end up losing probably 90% of the time, no matter how much health you have. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you watched the entire thing, be sure to let me know with a comment down in the comment section below. Are you someone that feels like you really struggle with aggressive players when you're playing Fortnite, or not so much? Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.